Good night, little man. I hope you're as happy as we are. Everything is going to be better now that we're in this quiet little mountain town.
Hello everyone, this is Brian Bentley at CoinOpTV bringing you gameplay and commentary for South Park, The Stick of Truth on the Xbox 360. I'm just going to come right out and say it, folks. This is an M-rated game, mature. So if you may have stumbled upon us by accident, or if you may find yourself offended by language, violence, or anal probing, this is probably the time for you to move on to a different video. We have tons of videos to choose from, so make sure you check it out. Yep, that's right, folks, anal probing. Which, of course, if you are a fan of South Park, you totally understand what the aliens are here for and what they're doing. So, I just wanted to drop this on you. Basically what happened is you are the new kid in South Park, Colorado. Now you've joined in with the large game that all the kids are playing. It's, you know, kind of a Dungeons and Dragons thing, but LARPing, basically. Now, right, I mean, there you go. Just looking at that joke, folks, it gives you plenty of an idea of the kind of stuff that happens while you play South Park, The Stick of Truth. That's just par for the course. Which, if you are a fan of South Park, as I am,
is this your first time getting
I don't know what to say. It's, you know, this stuff is funny because, you know, you understand the references. Does that mean that if you've never watched South Park before, that you would not enjoy this game? No, but I think that, you know, this is going to be geared towards those people who are fans of South Park. Here we are, just quickly jumping into looking at the at Facebook.
Wow, look at that. You must have broke off part of the probe and now you can
right
control
now,
it
so
with your
since the
finger
probe
muscle.
has broken off in our anus,
Basically,
it's kind of a new item that you have. So you have a bow and arrow, you can shoot things in the world. You have buddy skills, which, you know, right now I just have Kenny and Butters. You can tell them to do or act a certain, like to do something with, you know, things in the, you know, in the atmosphere. So, and there have been times where I've had to switch from one to the other to get, you know, to get the right buddy skill to use. As I was in my pajamas, they basically unequipped some of my pieces, some of my armor. So I need to put the armor back on. So I'm going to do that right now. Full of South Park references, South Park jokes. Not only that, but it's also full of a bunch of video game jokes, and you'll see a big example of it right now. You know, one at the beginning, of course, was during the training session is, you know, Clyde is supposed to be, you know, your first opponent, and, you know, Clyde wants to start fighting right away, but Cartman, of course, stops him and goes, no. You know, we're going to take turns. You know, it's basically explaining turn-based combat, and that it's stupid, and therefore you should forget it. But, you know, just like in olden times, like in medieval times. I'm going to kill some alien babies that are growing out of the floor. And we're going to get started, and we're going to see some of the combat. Now, one of the great things... you know, I could go into combat. The first combat here would be with 3 aliens, alright? But you can use different pieces different things in the environment to take out some of the bad guys so that, you know, you don't have to fight as many. So I'm going to shoot a wire. It's going to come down and take one out. Now I'm going to use my spell that I have called a cup of spell, and basically I'm going to fart in my hand and throw the fart into the fire to knock out another alien. So now instead of fighting 3 aliens, I am now fighting 1 alien. Big difference. Although I will admit that I did a lot of side quests, so I might be just slightly overpowered and comparatively for someone who may have just run through the story to get to this point. And what is this? You know what? Before I get into more of the story, you have a melee attack And it kind of has that, if you ever play like a Paper Mario where you have that timed based attack structure, this has much of that same feel to it. You know, honestly, I get, you know, especially with some of the music, going into a battle and coming out of a battle, I definitely get a costume quest feel to it, which, you know, I think is fair, but, you know, it's obviously more complicated than costume quest, but, in truth, the combat, while it's satisfying, it's not...
Great, you're in. You're looking for a security console.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to put it. Like, I'm not feeling like the entire thing is. You know, I don't want to say I feel bored by the combat. It just doesn't always feel as fulfilling as maybe it could be. So I'm going to. Well, I'll grab this and then I'll go and we'll have another video game joke, which are about audio logs. Because, I mean, who hasn't played a game where you're running around and you're collecting audio logs and you're like, why am I doing this? But I'll pause so that you can kind of get an idea of what they are.
Hello, is this recording? If you're hearing this, I've been taken hostage on some kind of alien ship. The aliens did unspeakable things to my rectal cavity. But I've broken free. I'm so scared and alone. I must find a way off this ship. Oh god, they're coming. Why am I standing here making an audio log? I don't have time for this. Leave me alone!
yeah, definitely. You're wondering, like, why did these people take these times? Sometimes you're wondering, like, why did they take the time to make these audio logs? But seriously, you know, the combat, you have a melee attack, which again is time based as well as is a ranged attack. So I use some environment. I use some environment to knock out one of the two guys. So. What I actually have a patch on my weapon so that I start debuffing, you know, my opponents. One of the debuffs I have on there is a bleed, which is obviously a bleed is a bleed. Bleeding effect so that the person takes damage each and every turn. But I also have done a gross out, which Kenny does a great gross out where he kisses the person and they either get like HPV or syphilis or gonorrhea.
The only thing I've found are other people's annoying, useless audio logs. Why did they bother when they clearly were in terrible danger? Each audio log I find is more irrelevant and boring than the last. I must keep looking for a way to survive.
So, all these hobo things, it all leads up to, now one of your side quests. Oh, yes, I forgot. Simon. So, you know, Mr. Marsh tells you straight out, you're like, you know, this is highly advanced alien technology. And by highly advanced alien technology, he means Simon. You know, you remember Simon from the 80s, where it was kind of a round device, and you put batteries in it, and then there were 4 colors, and it went boop, boop, and you had to mimic the colors. So, yeah, high alien technology from 30 years ago. But anyway, Kenny, you know, you can use his abilities as well as I should have gotten closer to the teleport. Anyway, so you know, each buddy character has his own skills. You also have skills now. There are 4 classes. There's the warrior, the mage, the thief, and the Jew. Of course, I wanted to be the Jew just to see what it's like. So I'll show a couple of the skills in later episodes. Now I'm going to use the hot thing to take out one of the guys before I get into battle. As well as you have your farts. You know, believe me, it seems as odd in my head to say these things as it is to tell you about them. So now he's grossed out and he's bleeding, so he's going to go dodge and then he is affected, so he'll die. Well, knock out. I don't know, whatever they're calling it. Not that it matters. Right, so, you know, you have your Dragon Shout, which is a large fart, or the Kappa spell, which is, you know, get a fart in your hand and throw it.
Day 4. I've looked everywhere, but I can't find anything to eat. or a clue to get me off the ship. Just more audio logs. They're everywhere. For some reason, I listened to every minute of every one of them, thinking there'd be some useful information, but it's like they're just
God, I got
filler.
an itch.
Useless filler.
Oh God, that is
They're
the
filler that's
worst.
driving me to madness.
As audio logs can be, filler that drives you mad. All right. So you have your mana skills, your power skills, which again, when I get to the battle, I'll show you. And you can summon creatures. So I can summon right now, Mr. Walk, from the restaurant, from the Chinese restaurant, from Shitty Walk. I can also summon Jesus. He comes in jumping in like Chuck Norris and has a machine gun and takes out an entire row of enemies. And there's someone else I can bring forward too. But you have all these audio logs from this hobo, and taking out hobos is actually a side mission you do for the mayor. So it's very important later. You're going to see me get.
Oh, you've got to be close. Come on, try again.
Yeah, thankfully they didn't expect me to do that.
Okay. Next time's got to be the turn.
But
Give it all you got.
yep. And then of course at the end, after they do all these crazy things, it's just like boop boop.
You've got to keep trying.
Anyway, maybe I should have chose something different, but you're gonna do side missions. Side quests
Okay, that
are
one doesn't
for,
work
like I
either.
said, the mayor,
Back towards the
the
elevator.
priest who asks you to find Jesus. You do one for Tweak and his parents. But I also Al Gore. Forgot about Al Gore. In the process of doing a side quest for him to find the Man Bear Pig.
Console you can try in that room across the bridge. The alien who works there is really tough, so be careful and remember to use
All right.
electricity.
And we're gonna. So now I'm gonna use the environment to limit the number of guys that I'm fighting. So, talked about the the combat. It's fine. It starts to get repetitive after a while, and I don't feel like it really ever has challenged me. I've actually considered bringing up the challenge level, raising the difficulty, just because, do something different. Story-wise, you're basically playing a giant, humongous episode of South Park. The art style is fantastic. Honestly, I don't think that they could have done better with the art style. Here we go. I'll use a skill right here, a Sling of David, or I can use Jiu-Jitsu or Circumscythe, which is basically me going with a what's it called? The little device that they use to circumcise you. Sorry, kids. You'll have to Google it on your own. So yeah, I've been trying to learn new Jew skills. As a Jew. So we can't be friends now. That's what Cartman says to you. Alright, I have deactivated the alarms, and it's time to go. I'm going to go find the hobo before going up and taking out the pilots. Oh. So.
Feeling alright, feeling okay.
Yeah, because what are you doing when you're waiting to be anally probed? You sing.
Day 7. Okay, I did find one audio log that was mildly amusing. A woman trapped on this ship left an audio log about some paper she had left in an alien cabinet, and she told me the code was 776. That was kind of cool because I didn't know the code before that. Though when I opened the cabinet, there was only some kind of power-up I didn't really need.
Again, how apropos. So, what I kind of like about when you're fighting these guys is it's all about, it's like anything else. You're just trying to find out, exactly, you know, how to take out the big bad guy. So, you know, just finding out that, you know, okay, so now he can't be he doesn't seem to be grossed out, but I can burn him, and that seems to be the way to do it. When you perfectly block, again, that's a timing thing, you have a chance to give him, you know, a small, you know, stab back. The only thing about that is while some battles the blocking seems, oh yeah, I forgot, using a dragon shout or kappa spell on fire works out really well. So I'm kind of combining elements here, but so now he'll be burning again, and you know, but so some. You know, like I said, oh, here I'm gonna use a Sling of David on him, which is basically a rock in a sock. But you know, in truth, what kind of gets me about it is it's when you're blocking, it doesn't always make sense. Like there isn't a consistent indicator of how. You know, like, so different, you know, like, so, I mean, obviously range attacks and melee attacks can seem different, but in truth, you know, even between, you know, one melee attack versus another melee attack, and as well as, you know, one projectile attack versus another, it is completely different. And it just feels off. So, you know, that's kind of, you know, I think that's enough on that. And I'm about to get into, like, the finally battle type thing here with the, you know, the pilot and co-pilot, or captain and co-captain, or whatever, is number 2, which in South Park obviously would be hilarious. Anyway, so just, oh, wait.
Something that looks to be food. It's some sort of green fluorescent goo. I'm gonna have to try and eat some. It's not so bad. It's tangy and nutty. Would probably go well with a... Hey, what's happening to me? What's it? Someone escape! What's going on?
Obviously, had I heard that last audio one before I actually beat up the hobo, probably would be, you know, probably make maybe a little more sense. But anyway, I'm gonna free Mr. Marsh here and then go on to the end. So. It just, there was so many awesome referential pieces that, you know, happen in this game that just make this such a unique, you know, well, and when I say unique experience, obviously, you know, that's a relative term, but, you know, when you're, normally when you're thinking about licensed games, it just doesn't seem to, I don't want to say make sense, that's not the right word, you know, but there is that idea that, you know, when you have a licensed game, it's just not gonna... It's gonna be disappointing, but, you know, the game is so... Not only is it referential to the show, but it's self-referential. And that really makes all the difference in the world. So, I'm kind of finishing up the Simon piece, so Mr. Marsh can get out. And I get the magic crystal, which will help me get to the,
Thanks, kid. I don't know who
you know, get up to the bridge.
Real, but consider me your friend. Until we meet again.
Yes, and now I have Randy as a friend. So what you'll see there is I just got my 35th friend, and as you gain friends, so as you gain levels, you can upgrade your abilities. So my Sling of David, or my Jujitsu, or my shoot, I already forgot what it's called, like the circumcision one. But there are other perks that you can get, and you get that by getting friends. So Mr. Marsh being my 35th, so I think that opened up my 5th perk. So I the perks, I hate to say that the perks are not, I don't know, I mean, they're okay. You know, I think the one I bought with the this latest perk is, you know, something to help my ranged weapon, but Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about the Chinpokomon. Right there at the top of the screen. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Ah, unbelievable. Well, hopefully I can get back in the spaceship and go back to get that Chinpokomon later. I just saw it now. Boom. So, you know, this is actually a boss fight. So what I was thinking was that I could bring Jesus out. But being a boss fight, they don't allow you to do any summons. See how it says boss next to it, so it's grayed out. But you still have the ability to use... So I have fire set on my bow, so I'm going to... I don't know why I thought... or it's right, because it's in the back row I had to use... but, you know, I will actually use, you know, a combination of the bow and the melee simply so that I can, you know, have a lot of debuffs on my enemies. I really... to me, it works out best like that. Alright, I've defeated their... Yeah, so like right here, like he shoots a thing at me, and then I'm like, oh, what? Oh, there we go. Oops. I totally messed it up. Anyway, so we're getting to the end here, and I'm about to defeat this and crash the ship. So I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me through the end of this, through the end of this video, and be sure to like us, like this video. Put down in the comments, you know, how much you love South Park, or you know what you think about the game, or you know how much fun you're having with it if you are playing it at home. And be sure to subscribe to the CoinOpTV YouTube channel, where you can get videos just like this one and so many others for games in this gen, next gen, you name it, we've got it. So, I do find it interesting, just as one last thought, is, you know, just how much, you know, between, you know, all the pieces, it just, I don't know, it just such an enjoyable experience. And while it's not a perfect experience, honestly, if you are, you know, if you are a fan of South Park, I think you will not be remiss in picking this up. I say go for it. It's funny, but like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a mature game, as you can tell from this video. But you know what? I just wanted to thank everybody once again for joining me. Now that the pilot has run away, the co-pilot becomes the main pilot. He actually puts on his special hat. And that makes all the difference in the world. Anyway, so thanks again, and we'll see you next time.